Welcome to another episode of One-on-One with Mitch Lafon. Just before we get started, let me remind you to check me out on Twitter at Mitch Lafon and Facebook One-on-One Mitch Lafon. The guest for this episode is none other than Deen Castronovo, former drummer for the band Journey. We talk about what led to the firing, what led to him getting thrown in jail, and his road to recovery. Without further ado, this story is so compelling, we must get it started. Here is the one, the only, Deen Castronovo. We are speaking with a former, I should say, Journey drummer, Deen Castronovo. Good day, Deen. How are you?
I am very good, Mitch. How about yourself? Everything good?
Good. Life is grand. And so, now correct me if I'm wrong, but we are June 29th, and this is the official one-year anniversary of you being clean and sober.
Yes, sir. Actually, when I was in treatment, after I got my phone back, I actually counted from the 29th, 30 days of every month. I counted, and it actually landed on the 25th. But my sponsor says, well, you know what? You can celebrate the 25th, but your real date is the 29th. So, I celebrated both, the 25th, and now I'm celebrating today.
Yeah, there you go. See, that's good. And hopefully we can... Hopefully we'll get to a second anniversary and a third and a fourth and then 25, 26. That's what I'm hoping for you.
You know what, dude? That's the plan. One day at a time. We're just taking it. Today I did it. I'm good today. If I wake up tomorrow, I should have it done tomorrow as well.
Yeah, and just before we got started, I was mentioning that I had been with Troy Lucchetta of Tesla on the weekend, and he was telling me that he was celebrating 24 years of sobriety. So it's there. It's doable. It's
It is, bro, and that's the beauty. There's a lot of people out there that suffer with this disease, and there's a lot of people that are great inspirations. That's an inspiration here in Troy. That's fantastic. 24 years, that is a long time.
Yeah, and it's good for everybody involved. So, let's get this started because there's an entire history that went on. There's all kinds of stuff. What are you comfortable talking about and not talking about? Do we want to go back to where things went really, really, really sour?
Well, bro, I can just be honest and be authentic and speak my truth. The 29th was a horrendous day for me. I was arrested for a domestic dispute, and a lot of things, a lot of charges were brought up that were thrown out because they didn't happen. Thank God for that. But the charges that remained were real, and it was something that I had to face. I had an addiction, a real strong addiction to drugs and alcohol, and my choices were skewed. I couldn't think clearly. I wasn't acting clearly, and my fiance and I got in a pretty horrendous fight,
yes.
And needless to say, I was thrown in jail for 15 days, which was honestly, I thank the police to this day. That saved my life. It really did. Going to jail saved my life. I think that that was the catalyst for me. That scared me straight. I mean, you spend any amount of time in jail, it wakes you up, and it woke me up. So I look at it this way. Jail saved my life. Getting into treatment for those 90 days at Hazelden Betty Ford in Newburgh changed my life. And now I'm looking at it, God's restoring my life now. It's slow, but it's an amazing process, and it's been great. Things that matter now are the things that should have mattered years ago. And being under the influence of drugs and alcohol, you can't think clearly, and you're not making the proper decisions and proper choices. So I'm grateful now that I'm a father, to my boys, and it's a beautiful thing. I'm getting back to playing again, which is amazing, Mitch, because I laid it down for a year. I promised myself that I wouldn't touch a drum kit really dig in until I had a good, solid year of recovery. And the day after, I celebrated that birthday, I went in and I started playing. I got the drums up, and I'm now playing, 3-4 hours a day. So getting my chops back up, so to speak, because they were kind of rusty.
Yeah,
Here I am today talking to you.
Yeah, and I can imagine that they were kind of rusty. If I may, have you had a chance to make amends and apologize to the other person that was involved? Has that?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, that happened. I was able to have phone conversations with her, and she's doing fantastic. I've known her since, I was, 19, 20 years old. So I've known her for a long time, and, it's kind of hard to throw any relationship that you've had for years and years away, But yeah, I've made amends, and she's doing great, and we're friends, we're remaining friends, and, she'll always have a place in my heart. She's a good lady. So.
Well, that's good to hear. So,
yeah.
So where, you had a meth addiction and all this. Where did this start? I mean, is this something where you were 12 years old behind the school, or was it just being on the road all the time, or was it, working with Revolution Saints drove you over the edge, I should say?
No, actually, bro, I can be honest with you. I was a late drug addict, a late bloomer.
Okay.
I smoked pot when I was a kid, 17, 18. But I gave my life to Christ in 1986, and just stopped doing everything for 10 solid years. Didn't have any desire, I was too busy doing the do's to do the don'ts. And, that was just not a part of my life. I was in the church really strong and playing drums and I had no problems, during my bad English time and my hardline time and my time with Paul Rogers. It started when I got fired from Ozzy. I was so depressed and so miserable and just heartbroken, devastated, that I figured, you know what, I'm going to numb myself. And it started with pot, and then started to be pot and alcohol, and then pretty soon that wasn't enough. And then it was pot and alcohol and cocaine. And, so I've had an on and off relationship with drugs and alcohol. And that's been, there'd be times when I'd have 3 months, clean, 3 months sober, doing great, and come off the road and, you reward yourself. You can have a drink here and there. It's never a drink for me. It's a bottle, It's never a little bit of cocaine. It's an 8-ball. I mean, I never did anything half measure. So it wasn't a thing where I was blazing all the time. It was sporadic, and it snuck up on me. It really did. It snuck up on me. And this last incident, it was honestly a friend of mine who was, he's no longer a friend. He had some methamphetamine. And I hadn't done that stuff forever. I think I tried it once in 2010, and I didn't enjoy it very much. So I ended up doing this, and I had a 24-day run. This is no joke, a 24-day run, and all hell broke loose. Everything, I lost everything. It just it kicked me in the teeth, and
yeah, as meth will do.
Yeah. Yes.
In terms of losing everything, did that also include sort of financial? Did you end up where you couldn't pay the mortgage anymore? Was it that kind of?
No, actually,
okay.
to be honest with you, I was. The band took very good care of me. They gave me a great severance. They took care of me, and to be honest as well, I had an accountant whose Journey's accountant has been for years and years, who actually put money away that I had no idea I even had. So when I came out of treatment thinking I'd lost everything, he was letting me know, no, you have this, you've got this profit sharing thing, and you've got this over here, and you've got this. I was amazed. So that was a blessing right there to know, okay, I'm okay right now. I can keep myself alive. I can take care of the family. I can take care of myself. Now, that doesn't mean I haven't had to downsize. I mean, obviously, the fancy cars are gone. The expensive watches, that's done. I mean, all that stuff is done. But you realize when you get clean and you get sober, I didn't need any of that stuff. I was filling a hole. That, with things and with drugs and with, whatever it was, cars, homes, that only God could fill for me. God and sobriety is the only thing that's going to fill that hole. And I found that I don't need these things. And it's been great. I have enough to keep me alive. I've got my needs met. My bills are paid. My family's taken care of. And, I'm okay, bro. Believe it or not, I'm actually doing pretty well. And I'm grateful to the Journey guys for helping me the way they did. I mean, it could have been much worse, but they loved me enough to make sure that I was, I'd be able to be on my feet while I was taking this time to take care of myself.
So And now you've also tweeted out pictures of your son and that you're being a father and all that. How has he reacted to all of this? Was he totally in the dark and then where's Daddy for 15 days? Or, was there some repairing? Okay.
Well, let me see. He was 11. He's 11. So,
okay.
His mother, definitely sheltered him from the heavy stuff, because some of the press, I mean, like I said, most of that stuff was thrown out, but the stuff that they would put in the press was horrendous. And I'm grateful, number one, that I didn't see it, because I didn't see that stuff. My son was kept from it. My oldest son, though, Kyle, he saw it. And it devastated Kyle. He's 25, and it wrecked him. Wrecked my ex-wives. They had to pick up the pieces through all this hell. And so luckily, my little guy, Roman knew what was going on, that I had that I was an addict and that I had a drug problem. But he didn't know to the extent of the press. He didn't see what the media was throwing out there. Thankfully. So, but he has turned around, both my boys. I mean, Kyle always believed in me, he saw glimpses of me. Roman saw glimpses of me, but it was like, Dad's here. Okay. Now Dad's gone. Well, he's on the road. Well, no, now he's home, but he's still gone, if you know what I mean. So they have embraced, my sobriety. I think it's more relief than it is anything. They know that this is sticking, I haven't had a year sober in 22 years, bro.
Yeah, I know. And I certainly I'm rooting for you, because losing the faith of your kids is the ultimate price. And so I'm glad that they're staying by you and you're rebuilding that.
No, you're right, Mitch. You are spot on. I mean, if it wasn't for my ex-wives and my kids, and my family and the band, really saying, what, we got to be tough love here. We love you. We're going to support you. We'll be here for you. The band did what they had to do, and thankfully they did. I mean, there's no way that I could get this strong of a base, a foundation, being on the road right now. There just would have been no way.
So let me ask you about the ex-wives and the band. Why didn't they just abandon you? I mean, I don't want to sound selfish, but if I see my brother being a meth addict and doing what I'd probably say, hey, you know what? I got other shit going on in my life. See ya. Why do you think they stuck by you?
Well, you know why? Because they know the real me. A lot of people, the people that have stuck by me, they know the real me. They've seen that real me. Neil, I've known since I was 23. I was a Christian then. I was sober then. They've known me. Jonathan has known me. They know the real me. And they also know the addict. And they gave me a million chances, bro. They've given me tons of chances. And they finally had to just go, you know what, enough's enough. And it was out of love. It wasn't because they hated me or they thought I was a loser or, a piece of junk.
They were enabling. I mean, they
did the best they could. They said, okay, we got to let you go. We got to let you get yourself well. You're not going to get well, in this band. And they were right. And I'm grateful, I'm very grateful.
How far back does it go with the band? I mean, I've seen you on tour with them early 2000s, 2010s, and
right.
Was there all kinds of stuff going on and they were just keeping a lid on it and, hey, put him in this dressing room and put a guard in front? And, I mean, was it that kind of thing?
No, not at all, bro.
Okay.
Like I said, most of the time it didn't get bad on the road until probably 2012. I had back surgery. They put 4 pins in my back, and we had to tour. So I was prescribed pain medication. Doctor prescribed them. I wasn't getting them illegally. So I had to get through a tour. I went through an entire year on pain medication, came off the road, was able to stop the pain medication, go back out on the road in 2013, and my hip goes out. I have my entire right hip was gone. I did the entire tour again on prescribed pain medication. Handed to me. It wasn't like I had the bottle in my hand. They were handed to me. They were given to me, and I did the shows and did what I needed to do. I remember the last show we did was in October, I believe, 23rd in Atlanta in 2013. By November 4th, I was in getting full hip replacement surgery in Santa Monica.
Was the band aware of all these?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. They knew, dude. You know, when you're hobbling off the stage, they know something's up. I mean, I had all the MRIs. I mean, actually, John Barrick, Journey's manager, and Irving Azoff were the ones that hooked me up with the doctor, Dr. Joel Matta, who's the leading hip replacement surgeon in California. I mean, he's a pioneer. So they knew. I got the MRIs, I got all the X-rays, and they were like, yeah, you're going to have to get this done. So it was something that as soon as the tour was done, boom, I went in, got it done.
If they see you're in such pain, though, why don't they? I mean, I know tour insurance is bloody expensive, so canceling becomes prohibitive. But why not just say, all right, let's have Steve or whoever come in and replace you for this run of shows. We'll let the fans know. We'll do a press release. They won't be funky.
Right.
Why not just do that?
I think that they knew that I loved doing what I did, what I do. I mean, I think it wasn't affecting the performances. That was the thing. It wasn't like I was getting high on stage. This was to get me to play and get me through. You know, I did I took what was prescribed and what was needed. It wasn't like I was getting a bottle and swallowing them all. You know, I had a guy out there that made sure, okay, here's your 2 before the show, here's your 2 after the show. That's the way we rolled with it. It was very controlled. It wasn't like that. So, you know, they knew I could get through the tour, and that's why we had the gentleman out there to take care and make sure that you know, everything was done by the numbers, done by the books. So, you know, and I did it. You know, I got through the tours, got through the surgeries, and this last run was just, I came off the road in May after the Vegas shows, and somebody had it, and I did it, and all hell broke loose. So here I am today.
Here you are today. Do you see at any point in the future working with? Now, you worked with Jonathan just recently. He has a worship album coming out that you did some work on. But do you see yourself working with Journey or Bad English or any of these? You know, it would be nice, by the way, to see Bad English come back for a run.
Dude, I would love to do Bad English. That'd be awesome. Are you kidding? That'd be so cool.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Honestly, Mitch, that's in God's hands. I don't know. You know, they've got Steve there, and he's doing amazing. I know that they'd like to keep him. I know he would, you know, they want him to stay. You know, that's really in God's hands. I don't know. And in the bands, but the beauty of it is I've been able to let it go. You have to let it go. I can't count on that. All I'm doing is living from day to day, bro, moment to moment. I live in the moment. I live in the now. That's the beauty of this recovery that I'm living now. I don't think about, oh, well, maybe I'll get back. You know, that's really, you know, I could die tomorrow. You know,
right? You could.
Why future trip? The one thing I did learn in treatment, man, you don't future trip. There's no reason to future trip or past trip. You live in the now.
Where does that leave you professionally, though? I mean, you had Revolution Saints, which was a fantastic album.
Thank you.
Do you do another project? And
you know,
I know we've talked about this.
Buddy.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I know that we've talked off air about Joey Belladonna's love for you and you for him, and I'd love to see you two do something together.
He's a good man, dude. Listen, I've got a lot of great friends out there. Dude, these guys are my heroes. Joey Belladonna is, I'm a fan. You got to remember, I'm a fan of the Journey guys. Every band we've ever been with, I'm a fan. So to meet these guys and have them pulling for me, and you know, Johnny Gioeli. I mean, a lot of people have really, you know, they've stuck their necks out to have my back here and support me, and that's a beautiful thing. You know, I don't know what the future holds, buddy. You know, I take it day by day. Right now, I'm doing this interview with you. I really do. I live in the moment. What's next? After this. You know, I'm going to go have a meeting with my investment banker and see if I can put some money away and invest some stuff and go down to the rehearsal place and play. And then, you know, I just take it day by day. You know, if somebody, you know, if a position opens up and somebody, you know, asks me to play or something, I mean, that would be great. But, you know, I really don't know. Right now, I don't know what my future holds. I'm just going to get myself prepared in case something does come, you know?
And that's got to be tough for bands and promoters and record companies out there because at this point they almost see you as damaged goods. So how do you change that perception and say, hey, listen, I'm still a great drummer. I'm still a great vocalist. Give me a shot.
Well, I guess the best way to do it, dude, is to do what I'm doing. Stay clean and sober, serve God with all my heart and soul, be the best father I can be, practice and get ready. And if it comes up, it'll come up. It's really something I can't control. That's the beauty, accept the things I can't change, have courage to change the things I can. All I can do is do the best that I can. And hopefully God will open that door, if that door opens. But, if it doesn't, bro, it's not the end of the world. If I never play again, it's not the end of the world. I'm still going to be a father. And if I have to get a job at Guitar Center, then I'll get a job at Guitar Center, bro. I'm not proud. I've never been the rock star. That has never been what I'm about. I loved playing music because I loved playing music. It wasn't, to get chicks and it just, that wasn't my thing. I love playing, but if it all ended tomorrow, you know what? I'm still okay. I got me. I'm clean and sober. I got family and friends that love me. And, I got to support my family. And if it's not playing drums and singing, well, then I'll get a job.
Right.
I know a lot of people wouldn't be able to say that, be like, oh, my God, my career's over. You know what? I used to think that way. Journey was my identity. Being a drummer was my identity. That's not my identity anymore. I'm Dean, man of God, father to Roman and Kyle. That's what matters now.
That's really what matters. Now, I do know that you have to run off to your investment guy, but let me ask you. Hopefully he can help. Hopefully he can help. But let me ask you a few music questions then. Next year will mark the 25th anniversary of the Hardline Double Eclipse album, and I know you just mentioned Johnny Gioli. So, just any chance of some kind of 25th anniversary shows or mini tour, even if it's only 6 dates?
Dude, you go make it happen. You can do this, Mitch.
Well, let's see. I've already put you and Johnny.
I would do it in a heartbeat. I'd play with Johnny, of course. That would be fun. Are you kidding? That'd be great, dude.
Yeah, and talk to me about that album just real quick, because that sort of came out of nowhere and just became one of these albums that, melodic rock fans like myself, we go back to and we say, oh, Hot Sherry, Hot Sherry. It really has stood the test of time, right?
Yeah. Dude, I actually downloaded that record probably, a year ago. I actually downloaded it a while ago, and I was cranking it the other day. I just listen to it once in a while. I'll pull it on, and, it really was an amazing record for the time. It was, the timing was so darned wrong on it. Had it come out 5 years before, it would have been over. You know what I mean? It would have been amazing. But I'm proud of that record. That just happened, with Neil and Johnny and Joe and, their sister. I think the story. Johnny told you the story in the interview that I heard a while back. But yeah, that's how it happened. Bad English had finally called it a day, and Neil was like, "Well, you're coming with me." I got to give Neil all the credit, bro. Neil took me everywhere. Wherever he went, he took me with him. I owe him my career. I really do. So, I went from Bad English, him discovering me, going into Bad English, into Hardline, then going into Paul Rogers, and, it just kind of everywhere he went, he took me with him, And it breaks my heart that I disappointed him so badly and hurt him so badly.
Do you talk to him
and
now?
mess with the legacy. What's that?
Do you talk to him now?
We text once in a while. He texts to make sure I'm doing all right. He'll say, "Hey, how are you doing?" And I let him know, give him an update on stuff. You know what? He's always going to be my big brother. I love him to death, man. I take bullets for him. He found me, and not just that as in a career. Throw the career aside. He's always he's had my back. He's been my big bro. And like I said, I'm closer to him, bro, than some of my own family. You know what I mean? That's how close I am to him. We just. He always looked after me and took care of me, and helped me. If it wasn't for him, I'd have no career. He and Jonathan,
Yeah,
I'm very fortunate.
Good to hear that he didn't abandon you, because getting back to the right place requires that support system and those people to stick around. Now, earlier on, you had mentioned that you were fired from Ozzy, and of course, you were on the Osmosis album, which. By chance has one of my favorite Ozzy songs. I just love Perry Mason. I love that song.
Dude, I know.
Up and down.
That's a wicked tune. Yeah.
I wish he would play it a lot more often, but how do you go from Bad English to Hardline to Paul Rogers to Ozzy? How did that come about?
It's, whether you want to call it God, karma, whatever it is, whatever the universe was putting in me, it was guiding my steps. I mean, it's how the music industry is. It's a very close knit circle. I mean, everybody knows everybody pretty much. I mean, so it's all hearsay. I was on the road with Bad English. Steve Vai was playing in Whitesnake. Bad English was opening for Whitesnake. Steve Vai sees me, and then they're looking for a drummer. Steve Vai's playing with Ozzy. They're looking for a drummer. Steve Vai calls me. I mean, it was just that easy. And I went in and played and ended up doing the record and did the South American tour, and that was it. It was really quick. I think I was with Ozzy for 3 years.
Let me ask you about that South American tour and those tours. Did the tour include Robert Mason in a vocal booth off stage on that part of it?
When I was in the band, no.
Okay, because at some point on that tour, the tour right after, Ozzy was getting some vocal assistance, which I always found to be a fascinating story.
No, I never saw that. I mean, when I was with him, I only did I think I did like 10 or 12 shows with Ozzy, and then I was let go. So I didn't really see much of that. I recorded the record in Paris with Zach and Geezer and Ozzy. It was incredible, dude. Just, Zach and Geese, incredible, just incredible.
Yeah.
So, for that, I did that little stint on the road, the South American thing, and then that was it. I became a studio musician. I was doing all kinds of stuff, doing studio records, and then ended up going to Italy for 10 months with an artist named Vasco Rossi, who is huge over there. He's like the Bruce Springsteen of Italy. So ended up playing with him for close to 2 years,
Wow.
on and off in Italy. And it was great. Just an amazing artist. It was a lot of fun.
You mentioned...
I've been blessed, dude.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Geezer and Zach, who are phenomenal. You also had Rick Wakeman on there. But Lemmy, who passed away not so long ago, wrote a bunch of songs on that album. Did you see him a lot? Did he come out to the studio and hang with you guys? Or did he sort of write these things in his living room and then just send them to Ozzy later?
I think that's what he did. I never saw him in the studio. I met him once at Brixton Academy with Geezer. We went to see Fear Factory play in London at Brixton Academy. So that's the first time I met Lemmy, first and last time. A really awesome guy. But yeah, I think he did all this stuff, on the sidelines. I never saw him in the studio or anything.
And then I'll finish with the Ozzy stuff because I'm a fan of Ozzy. And what happened after South America? Why didn't they retain your services? Why only 12 shows?
I don't know, bro. I mean, I've heard different stories, different reasons. I wasn't using, so it wasn't that. So I don't know what it was, bro. I mean, the different stories, like I said. I couldn't nail down a finger on why, but it happened, and it was rough. That was the first time I'd ever been fired from anything. So it was pretty rough because I felt that I had reached my pinnacle playing with Oz, and then being let go was that was tough.
Yeah, I can imagine, especially Ozzy in South America in the day. I mean, it must have been 50,000 people a night, and then all of a sudden you're gone. Wake up call,
Monsters
right?
of Rock, dude. It was the Monsters of Rock tour. It was fantastic. But then you look at, I think it was 8 months later, I was playing with this guy Vasco Rossi, who was doing 100,000 seats a night by himself, 3 nights in a row at San Siro in Milan. I mean, that was the biggest crowds I've ever played with in my life. So to go from that to Ozzy to doing Vasco Rossi was just like, what the heck? It was like twice the people. It was amazing. He's huge over there, just ridiculously huge.
Yeah, it's amazing how there are certain bands and certain artists that are huge in their country, and here, like for example, Status Quo. In the UK, they could probably play Wembley Arena. They come here, they probably couldn't play CBGBs, And it's like,
isn't that sad, dude? I mean,
it's
I know.
weird, though.
You look at Maiden. Maiden goes all over the world, man. They're playing, stadiums here. They do like, Coliseum type stuff, 10,000 seats, something like that. It's amazing. It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's strange. Now, how much time do you have? About another 5 minutes or so?
Yeah, I got about 5 minutes for you, brother.
Okay, let me ask you about some of the weird stuff. The whole album, Celebrity Skin, you are supposed to be an uncredited drummer on that. Did you actually play on that? Is that true? And well, let's start with that. Yes or no?
Well, let me put it this way. I played on the record. What happened was, I had to sign a thing that said that I would not mention that. But
an NDA.
I think that Patty Schemmel had done an interview, or Hole did an interview with Patty, in Spin Magazine, and she spilled the beans. Told him, said that, it's this guy playing drums, and, it's his masterpiece, not hers. So, yeah, I played on that record, but, I hope I don't get sued for that. That would really suck, 'cause I got nothing for her to take. I just got nothing.
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure you won't get sued for a couple of reasons. A, if you Google it, you can find it pretty easily. Yeah. And like you said, she gave an interview where she said, "Oh, it's really Deen playing." So I think you're covered.
Yeah. Good deal, brother. Thank you.
I think you're covered. But how did Hole approach you to be part of this? Was it just? I mean, did you do a lot of studio work that you're not credited for?
Yeah, I've done I did probably 6 or 7 records that
people don't know.
Yeah, like the Ghost guy. It was Michael Beinhorn, Ozzy's producer.
Right.
He was the one that put me into that record. I mean, they were looking for a person. They had me come in, and I ended up playing on it. I mean, Michael got me like 3 or 4. Let me see. He got me the Social Distortion record as well.
Wow.
I played on that record, So he got me 3 or 4 different playing spots, which is pretty cool of Michael. It was very cool of him to do that. He could have had anybody.
So there's another 4 or 5 albums that you've played on, but we still don't know what those are.
Correct.
All right, well,
and I'm not mentioning them.
I got 5 minutes. Start mentioning them. Anybody that we would be surprised? Like, is there like a major artist? Like, would we like go? Oh, you were on that Kiss album, really? Like anything like that?
Oh, I wish I was on a Kiss album. I love Kiss. No, you know what, bro? Social D. That one. It's got Chuck Biscuits credited on the record, but that was me on that record. That was so much fun, man. Mike Ness, monster. Just the whole band. Dennis was in the band at the time. He was still alive. It was incredible. So pretty cool.
And since we are running out of time, I do want to hit Revolution Saints, but I can't. I'd be remiss if I missed Bad English altogether. Yeah. When I See You Smile, one of the greatest songs ever. Right? I mean,
awesome. Diane Warren.
Yeah, well, she's awesome. She's she knows how to write it. That song just goes on and on and on and on. The band though didn't go on and on and on and on.
Right.
How did you go from top MTV, I don't even know what do you call them, spins or views or whatever they called them back then, to this song that's in all these movies, and we're done after 2?
You know what, bro? That was something that I was not privy. They didn't tell me. I was a side guy. I was the new guy. I was a nobody. I mean, I was like, the rookie. And so I don't really know what happened. How do I put it? There was just some inner workings between, management and the band members, and they didn't tell me what was going on. All I knew was that I got a call that Neil was like, "Okay, Bad English is breaking up, so I'm taking you with me." And that was it. I was in Detroit, Michigan, doing a drum clinic when Neil called me and told me that. So.
That is unbelievable. John Waite, of course, is still out there, just like Neil and the other guys are. But what do you think of him as a vocalist? Because I think he was really the perfect choice for those songs.
Yeah, dude, honestly, he's one of the best vocalists of my generation. I mean, you got Steve Perry. To me, John Waite is so unique, and he's so real. When he sings, it's so authentic. Paul Rogers the same way, but John's got his thing. When you hear that, that voice, you know exactly who it is. And I was blessed to work with him. He's one of the best, in my opinion, of my generation by far. I mean, just incredible.
Yeah, so I'm hoping that like Frontiers Records manages to throw enough money towards you, right?
Wouldn't that be cool? I would love to do that. That would have to be, the 4 other guys. I would just be the guy that go, yeah, I'll play.
Because I think that would do great numbers, like at summer festivals and stuff. And we'll finish with this, because I know you have an appointment with the accountant.
No problem, brother.
Revolution Saints. It came out. It was fantastic. Then you had your thing, which your issues that killed that band, and of course Doug Aldrich has gone on to do other things, the Dead Daisies, and Jack Blades, of course, Night Ranger. What are the chances of a second Revolution Saints album coming out? And even if it is new guys, even if it is, like I said, Joey Belladonna on vocals, you on drums, and I don't know, whatever, Zakk Wylde on guitar. Like, what are the chances that you might keep that brand going?
I mean, that would have to be, if I did that, or if we did that, I think I'd want to keep it the same guys. I want to have Doug do it, and I want to have Jack do it. I know Doug's busy. He's got Doug Daisies, and I know Jack's busy. But, there was just a chemistry between us three. I love Jack to death. I miss him. I miss Doug. What we had was so cool, and it breaks my heart that I, destroyed it. But, you never know, bro. Stranger things have happened, I have so much respect for Jack and Doug. And they've had my back through this as well. They've been really cool. But when I was pushing to do this, after I got out of treatment, I was like, let's go do this. And Jack was like, dude, I can't. I'm busy. That's when I knew. It's like, okay, I got to slow down. I got to stop. This is not going to happen. I need to just stop this. So, Jack, was right to do that. And so was Doug. They supported me, but they had to do it from a distance. They had to just kind of walk away. And, I was just going gung ho. I just wanted to work and work. I wanted to get it back. And it's like, you know what? That's not what I needed. I did not need to play at that point. I did not need to be working. So, they did the right thing,
Yeah, they really did. And Doug, by the way, was my interview yesterday, and we spoke about the band too. So that'll be out next week. But it's been a pleasure speaking with you. I know we've talked on and off for the last year, and it's nice to see you getting back to a place where you need to be. And personally, it's also nice for me to know that you've made amends with the people that you hurt, because that's where it starts. That's step one for me.
That is exactly. You've got to go to the people that you've hurt and at least clean up your side of the street. Whether they accept it or not, that's not why you do it. You do it, to clear your spirit, to clear cleanse your soul, and just go, look, what I did was wrong. What I did should never have happened. And I apologize, and that you do that to the band members, you do that to everyone that was involved, your family, your ex-wives, they were still my best friends, man. These guys are my family, and you have to, it's hard. It ain't easy to go, what I did was horrendous and wrong.
Yep. And they certainly have every right to say, yeah, that's nice, but we don't want to talk. They have every right to say, we don't accept. And,
yeah, but that's the blessing, man, because they knew me. You know me from conversations we've had. Right. These people have known me since I was a kid. So they've known me all my life. So they know the real me. What you're hearing now, Mitch, is the real me. This is me, not that person I killed that guy a year ago. That guy's dead, and he's not coming back. I make sure every day that I kill that beast. Every day. Every day that guy dies.
And here we are. And like I said, I spent a few days showing Troy from Tesla around, and we talked about the 24 years. And so I certainly hope that as we speak down the road, that we will get eventually to a 24-year conversation, because you deserve that, and mostly your family deserves that.
Yes, sir. You're right, Mitch. And I'll take it day by day. If I'm still alive in 24 years. Chances are I'll do all the right things and do what I need to do to make that 24 years. So, that's all I can hope for and believe for, man, is that I stay grounded and put God and sobriety first, and my kids are right underneath, kids and family, and the career is number 3. And God will open that door if he wants it opened.
Yeah, and speaking of career, I do know people at Guitar Center, so I can give them a call for you.
Dude, I'm telling you, I was actually gonna if I didn't get a gig, I'd go work at DW, making drums. I'd do that in a heartbeat. Are you kidding? You'd be around drum sets all day long. Ooh,
yeah, why not?
For me.
There you go. Thank you, Dean, and go take care of your investments. We'll do a part 2 at some point.
Yes, sir. I'm hoping that I can retire.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
Mitch.
Have a good one.
God bless, buddy.
Absolutely.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye. And there you have it, folks, my interview with former Journey drummer Deen Castronovo, talking about his road to recovery. I certainly wish him all the best. Once again, I remind you to check me out on Twitter at Mitch Lafon and on Facebook, one-on-one Mitch Lafon. Thank you to Dean for being so brutally honest during that interview and laying it all out. He laid it on the line, and you got to admire him for that. And I do wish for him and his family that the road to recovery is a continued success. I would certainly love to have a 25th anniversary of it and more. So there you go. And thank you, folks, for checking this out. And thanks for checking out One-on-One with Mitch Lafon. Always a pleasure. And there you go. That's it. Bye for now. Oh, my.